I've got a new product, fresh from press release and fresh, just got the new version of it. If you work today from home like I do, you're probably looking to up your productivity. And one of the biggest problems with working from home, when I talk to people, is the distractions. A lot of time when you're talking to somebody and you don't have the equipment or the gear, that person on the other side is going to struggle. And the more that they struggle listening to you, the harder it is to concentrate. And I was recently listening to a podcast that had David Epstein on it, an expert in this area. And one of the things he mentioned was the more you make somebody work when you're communicating, meaning that their brain has to process more information in order to help yourself become more productive and reduce the stress that you place on other people. One way to do that is by having a quality Bluetooth device that filters out that noise. And we've sold tens of thousands of these over the years to many businesses and individuals. And that's the Poly Voyager 5200. There are three things you need to know about this. One of the biggest problems over the years has been the fact that it had a mini USB port for charging, and a lot of people didn't like that. So now it's updated and has a USB-C charging port. You can also use that to connect it into the charging cases. Next, enhanced noise canceling. So one of the things that this particular headset was known for, really good noise canceling. And what they did was added something new called Noise Block AI. So what it is an additional layer, like an AI version of it that knows how much wind is being applied to the microphone and then filters that out. There are 4 microphones on both the Legend 30, the 50, as well as the older version. But with this additional Noise Block AI, they're able to filter out even more background noise. Now, look, Poly doesn't make any apologies about not being the cheapest out there on the market. So if you're looking for something super cheap, like $20 or $30, this is not for you. This is for that person that really wants to dial in that sound. And I can tell you, having used the Legend 30 for the last 60 days, I've had a preview on this. They're not paying me a dime for saying any of this, but I got to tell you, having tested Bluetooth devices for now over 20 years, this new one is right up there. I'd put it right up there with a lot of the better ones that I've tested. The number one issue that I found and a ton of other users found on the older version was that it just didn't have enough battery time on its own. That's been resolved with the new release of the Legend 30 and the 50. Now you get up to 30 hours if you spring for the Legend 50. That's this one right here. That comes with a charging case, 10 hours natively on the headset, and then 20 hours additional on the charging case itself. So that's where you get the 30 hours. On the 30, you get 10 hours natively as well. So there's no difference there in terms of talk time. And by the way, there is a change coming. The whole dongle issue is going away. What's happening is that more and more people don't have enough Bluetooth USB ports on their laptops. And so now the manufacturers like Intel have come up with a chipset that allows you to natively connect. I can't speak for the tests that I'm doing with some manufacturers, but I can tell you that I have been using some that connect without a dongle. I'm just not at liberty to say which ones those are yet because they haven't made that publicly available, but it's a really interesting thing. When we're talking about newer and updated devices, on these two, you have the new Bluetooth 5.4. There's a lot of points there to cover, but needless to say, it's more stable on the 5.4. There's some capabilities to use this in locations where they broadcast radio signals, or like at museums now where you can listen over Bluetooth and they broadcast. That's built in to be able to work with that. The Bluetooth connection is more stable, it's more efficient, so it's going to use less battery power when we put it through its paces. When I've tested it outside in the car, we're going to bring you all those videos to help you understand how it performs. But based on the 60-day test that I've already put the 30 through, I'm pretty impressed. I've used it for video calls on Zoom, on Google Meet. I live not far from the river, and I've walked the river multiple times during conference calls, during video meet when I'm not on the screen and just listening and talking to people on Zoom. They have no idea. I've made my coffee and all kinds of other stuff that normally you could hear if you're just using a speakerphone and you grab your phone. And nobody has really said, "Hey, Rolando, that noise in the background is bothering me." So far, so good. And that's without the noise block built in. So I'm really curious to see how this 50 performs because it does have that extra technology built in to filter out those sounds. These devices, you can find them anywhere, but there's only one place on Amazon that will support you if you need support for these devices. On Amazon, you can now get product support from my team that are product experts. You will simply have to do 2 clicks on the Amazon app to get to this support page. You just look for the order where you bought the product. You click on that, you will land on a dedicated landing page. And if you want, we'll have videos there for you. And this is not just for this product, the Legend 30 or the 50, but all the products that we provide on Amazon. And you can watch videos, self troubleshoot, and on that page, there is a phone number that goes to us. Yes. And we like to talk to people, even though customer service is getting cut down everywhere and you end up talking to a chatbot or an AI bot. We still like talking to people. So if you need to reach out to us or somebody or your team, because if you're buying this for a squad, a department, or an entire fleet of people, we're here to help you out if you run into issues. And I want to shout out my team for doing that because it is no small feat to get Amazon to do that. I want to thank you for hanging in there with me, hanging out for a little bit. You got any other questions? Drop us a comment. Somebody on my team will be glad to respond. So thanks for joining me today. You want to nerd out on more videos? Go ahead, check those out. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.